What's up guys, welcome to Boomer Plays. Today we'll be doing a new series called Boomer Reviews. The game we'll be reviewing today is Imperator Rome, and let's get into the video. So here's the map. I've chosen a very small faction to play as. This is just purely for educational reasons, just to show you off what the functions are. I currently have a mod enabled. It just allows me to give some cheats, so then I can show you some of the other functions in place. So yeah, let's get started with some of the features I've noticed so far. So this is what I've seen. So first off, you have a function called retinues. This is in theory, each clan has its own retinue, and as that clan gains more power, retinue expands, similar to you. But what I don't like is how I only have 1,000 men, and yet these other two retinues have more men than me. So in theory, it should be an all-out civil war already, because there's no centralization. It's 10% centralization. So surely they would try and revolt and take me over. So don't know what's happening now, why they decided to do that. So yeah, that's my first opinion. So that's the retinues for you. I do like it, I will admit it's getting better, but they need to improve it slightly. I don't like how I have less men than them. And Viking tribes, they didn't really have a standing army. Barbarian tribes didn't really have a standing army. It was just everyone got given a weapon and was like, all right, go kill stuff. You did have the warrior class, but the warrior class was so small, it was more down to the peasants. So that's where the whole idea of levying came from. Levying's been around for years. It's just had different meanings and different names as the centuries have gone on. And I find why levying was increased during the Dark Ages wasn't necessarily because it was the Dark Ages. It was because there wasn't enough professional soldiers anymore. Everyone had been killed off who had some form of experience, and well, there was no sort of way there was no proper infrastructure anymore, so there was no way to fund large armies and keep them going, because all that had been knocked off during like the Great Pillages and so forth. So yeah, arguably that's why they became less common. So anyway, let's little bit less of the history. So I believe that is a capital. Well, so it's a capital of Venetia, Osman. So it's the capital of there. So that's a capital of this whole area apparently, which we own. So that means that we're obviously going to have some disagreements. And then this is our actual capital. So you notice how we have a larger population in this one, I think, compared to so there's a larger population. That's just a bonus because of capital, which I quite like. And then if you can see here, this is what you can do. So if you're wondering why you can't get any more buildings and it feels like the game's broke, no, you just need to. So what you first off do is you found a city, and then once that grows, you can found a metropolis, which gives you even more spaces to move. I quite like that function. It does take a while, bear that in mind when you're playing. So like if you want to go, I'd recommend just going around conquer people before you worry about building stuff. I played the playthrough yesterday of just literally me sitting there. And the one thing I took away from that, there's no point worrying about money early game. It's all about rushing and hoping for the best. So that you build up your army early, conquer some territory that's worth a lot of money, and boom, you're sorted. That's my honest advice if you want to play this game. It's not so much about, which I don't particularly like as well, as money. It wasn't necessarily money that was the issue. Money was more of a currency for centralized nations such as Rome, Greece, arguably, just because of the democratic areas about it, and say the Seleucids. But it wasn't really a thing for the barbarian tribes. They didn't necessarily pay their warriors in gold statutory. It was, you expected to get fed and so forth, but really you just hoped when you went on a campaign you're going to get gold, otherwise you just storm off angry. So I've got some troops queued up, and we're going to take on someone, I don't know who yet. And so I'm going to run the game now. I'm going to leave it on that speed so my frame rate doesn't drop. So while we're waiting for those to build up, we're just going to go through some of the interesting features. So as you can see, excuse me, now I had a yawn then. As you can see, we've got a fortress, a barracks, a slave estate, a mine, and so forth. This is like some of the basic buildings you can construct. As you can see, I'm building up an army to take on this objective. Yep, they didn't have any allies, so I'll take them on. So as you can imagine right now, I'm building up a very large army, and my plan is to hopefully take these guys, because this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to cut off Osmosia, and I'm going to take over Osmosia. So far It's looking promising. I do like some of the functions, like it doesn't take ages to build up an army. When you play a game like Total War, each turn it counts as a year, and in theory each unit only has about 320 men or something like that, not even at 160. I'm talking about when I edit the game to make it so I can have that. But reality was, people mustered up armies in about a space of 2 to 3 months sometimes. The Romans did it during the Punic Wars. To beat Hannibal, beat Hannibal, they had to continuously, they just kept on throwing troops at them, and that's the thing that I think this game is missing a trick, which I think Rome Total War is missing a trick on, is it isn't known necessarily about recruitment time. I say recruitment costs should be up, so that's the one thing I will say. If you want to have that sort of function, yep, we're losing money now, so I'm going to try and be sneaky and take some territory because they've gone off. So we're going to attack them, but we're going to hope for the best. So, yep, so here we go. I'm going to see how quickly you can take the capital. So, a function in this game is, once you take a set city, important city, yeah, other areas start to capitulate, which I find is quite appropriate for the time era, because there wasn't this whole idea of guerrilla warfare wasn't a big thing in these sorts of areas. It was more a thing in Rome, arguably, against the Roman, because the Romans invented guerrilla warfare, yet they were defeated by it in Germania because they used a form of guerrilla warfare against the Samnites. And yeah, so as you can see, we're about to lose this battle, I think. Oh no, maybe not. So yep, a very close battle, I'd say. But yeah, I say the important thing is with these sorts of things is to realise when you beat. So I'm just going to quickly see if I can sue for peace. Offering peace. Offering peace. No, I just want peace. Really? Can I just... Oh, wait. Alright, we've got to go after him. So guys, if you're wondering, this is the issue I have. It is very hard to start off with. That's my big thing. Like, these guys barely have a proper army. I have chariots and so forth. Yet light infantry are apparently more powerful than chariots. So that's my sort of big hate about this type of game. I will say this to you guys. If you're not good at this game, you'll find it... Well, I'm playing this on normal and I'm getting absolutely smashed. So I'm going to be sneaky here and do some cheeky stuff here. So just for the purposes of I want to win and not lose, I'm just going to quickly put on the good old cheeky cheats menu. So if it will let me, it's decided. What is it doing? I have no idea what it's doing. Oh, because alright. So anyone asked, this happens all the time. Keep this quiet, this is cheeky. Yep, so I'm just going to quickly spawn in some heavy infantry. If anyone asked, they were already spawned in. Finish picking. Okay, wait, what? There we go, hey. That's my army. So my army spawned in now, so we're just going to quickly retake back some territory and then we're going to go fight these guys off. So if you're wondering... Wait, what? Wait, is this my territory? Alright, so as you can see, they've taken my territory. That's the thing they do, is they can push peace terms when they hold your territory. So I think I only own that now. And as you can see, I'm having some massive issues with war exhaustion. So, yep. I can assure you guys, it can be very hard if you don't know what you're doing. I decided I was going to go for a playthrough just to show you the functions. Don't just assume this is how this game is run, because trust me, it is a lot of fun. But my personal opinion about this sort of stuff is you just have to take it with a grain of salt, to be perfectly honest with you. Sometimes like stuff like how you're getting hammered by the AI, trust me, it can be awful. So we're going to go through some of the mechanics, some of the areas that I like now with the overall game. So we're going to talk about our nation overview, which is just started. So this is where you find out, in theory, if there's you'll get a notification saying if you've got a civil war, and this is where it will appear up here. So this is where you'll be told if you've got a civil war coming, and you'll come up here and you'll see why, you'll see which ruling clan it is you're fighting off against, and that's how you know you're having a civil war going on. And trust me, it isn't the most enjoyable thing in the world. It's absolutely awful to fix a civil war. It's game breaking. personally believe. But yeah, I'm just building up an army. So we're going to go through nation. So now we've done nation overview, of course. We're going to go for our government. So this is the one where you look at your officers and you can have points. You've got your arbiter. Yeah, so these give you all your bonuses. This is sort of what you expect from a standard game. You want to sort of build up a very good roster of people who are in your offices, so you can get some really good bonuses to help you fight. So this is what you got so far. So barter economy status. So you can see you got all these different, so it's similar, very similar to Victoria 2 sort of stance, because Victoria 2 had all these different things, and then you can see all the different, and this is our military thing. So you can see you've got all the archers, camel cavalry, chariots, and so forth. So some weird stuff. Trust me, it is a lot. And then we're going to go to technology. So this is the one where I'm just going to quickly get some of these. So learning on the job, and I'm going to do. So in theory, what you want to do is you want to be cheeky and try and get as much as tack as you can on the off chance as soon as you start, because this will help improve your nation. So yeah, that's what I do if I'm playing this. I say personally, it's a very long-winded mechanic. Moving on to religion. So that's religion for you guys. To be perfectly honest, there's not really a lot to talk about. It's more self-explanatory. I'll go through some of the things that I like about it and some things that I don't like about it. But yeah, it's religion for you. Here's the economy. So this is the important one you'll be paying attention to. We're currently paying 16.23 gold in debt. That's just from having our backsides handed to us just then. So yeah, in true fashion, we're gonna build up an army. We're gonna go take them on again, and we're gonna win this time, I reckon. Because of course we're superior to them. We'll obviously win. Yep, definitely. So anyway, so as you can see, we have army maintenance, wages. I believe if you move this down, yep, your monthly corruption goes up. Yep, so that's very weird. Is that wages for the troops, or is that wages for governors? Because surely if you reduce the wages of a soldier, they're not going to be particularly that happy with it. So you also got army maintenance here. So as you notice, there's a massive debuff on army maintenance, because you are a tribe, so you have no way to maintain your economy when you do this. So obviously it's going to cost more than it would do if, say, you were a proper nation. Diplomacy. So I really like diplomacy. It's quite a good one. It's quite enjoyable, to say the least. I love my words enjoyable currently, but it's very hard to wrap your hand around. I'd say if you're looking for it, you can, as you see, you've got all your options, you've got access, all the standard stuff you expect from a Paradox game. Nothing really new, nothing groundbreakingly new, I'd argue, for a game that cost a lot of money to pay. So you've got all your decisions. Of course, I have like this cheats mod, but then you've got all these other things. And the tribal reform one is a very good one, because that like turns your tribe into a kingdom. So you can in theory go past Rome. Eventually, like they did, eventually what happened, and that's how Rome got overthrown. Got the trade overview. Of course, everyone hates us now because we lost a war. Because if you win a war, of course, you're liked. So apparently the guys we were just at war with suddenly want to trade with us. So yeah, that's ancient world politics for you. So that's quite good. So I just remember here, so we've got ourselves a trade route for base metals. So that should improve our overall income. Then we got the characters. So this is where you check your character's traits. You look at that loyalty. So inferior officials are sort of going into civil war. You could expect our character law to be very, very small. So I'd say personally, they've all been brainwashed, because we've just lost a war. A very important war, because we lost like we've lost most of our territory. So what how is this good? So that's my opinion. Why? So we're on to mercenaries. So mercenaries is the good one. You can recruit a mercenary. It's like, say for example, if I really was being salty like I am being, I'm just going to recruit up some of these mercenaries and just get them all together. And yeah, we're going to get them all together, and we're going to build up an army, and we're going to go take these guys out for good. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So you can see you've got all these different types. You do find that everywhere. You don't need to go on this. Mercenaries will pop up in your home region, and you can recruit them if you're mustering an army. I personally don't. And finally, you have the missions. I haven't tried this yet. I think it's awful and takes ages to complete some of these missions, but that's just me because I'm impatient. But yeah, they take a really long time to complete with very little benefit, arguably, for me. Yep. So, nation overview, I think it's good, but it can be improved. Currently, it looks a bit dull. Like, you got that. I don't know whether you could add in something about the culture, maybe. Well, they've got it with Druidic, yeah. I'd say more so it just needs something more, if you know what I mean. It's hard to put my finger on what it actually needs, but it just looks a little bit blank. Whether that's just because I only own one territory, but it just needs something a little bit more. Government-wise, I quite like this. It's quite a simplistic style, and it has worked with all the Paradox games. So, yep. So here we go. Here's what I can do. That's what I can do. I can change what recruits. So this is what I'm going to have. So this is what you can do with your retinues. I just figured out this function just now, lads. So, well, lads and ladies, of course. So, yep, I'm enjoying that. And then you've got the laws. We've played around with this. So I'd say overall the government is quite a good one. I say it's quite good. It's quite simplistic. It's easy to function with, and then you've got less issues. So I say that's fine to me. I say the only downside I have for it is maybe you could add in like a, I don't know, maybe about government-wise, maybe have something to do with residences. Like you can offer your officer, like having more along lines, because currently how you offer someone residences isn't really bleak. You can do it, but I don't know how. And yeah, so maybe having it in here, like having holdings as another one, and then you can just assign holdings through there. That's my only downside, I feel. Technology is alright. It takes absolutely ages, and I don't think a technology you're researching should cost money if you're just adapting it over time. I say it should only really cost money if you want to fast track it through. But what I've noticed is technology, you still have to research it. It doesn't naturally adapt. So yeah, I don't get what they're going for with that. Not everything was paid for in money in the ancient world. I think people are forgetting the point in that. So yeah, that's my opinion on technology. Religion wise, so what, wait, what? I don't so like you can see we got the shrine, so holy sites, but surely I should be able to build a holy site that I can increase religion, like be able to build my own holy site in my country to increase my religious support. That's the only thing I'd say. Overall I enjoy it, but it just looks a bit bleak, if you know what I mean. They need to be adding something a little bit more. Like every one of these tabs are brilliant, but they need to add a little bit more. I don't know what they can do, but it just doesn't feel like a proper tab to me without having a little bit more. The economy here, like I would prefer getting rid of the trade tab and putting that in here and having that as a second tab, like in this actual thing, like they've done with the politics. It's like you see here, I'd prefer to have that, but they haven't done that, have they? Like it make it more simplistic, and then they could maybe do something else to do with trade. It's like trade overview. Surely that would be under the economy though, because it's part of your economy trade. It's not separate. You don't just trade and then you have money. Trade is to do with money. So what they were going for that, I have no idea. Some of these you can hear me go and don't know what they were going for here. I say I quite like it, but the overarching economy thing is quite simplistic, and they do keep the design. It isn't completely flawed, I'd say. It isn't glitchy, but it needs that little bit more to it. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say to you about something like this. It is just a bit, yeah, I would love something like to do with buildings, like instead of just having all round buildings, having like economy based buildings, like different edicts you can enact in here where you increase your economy, like lowering business tax and so forth, stuff that they actually knew about back then, I'd say to you. So that's my opinion. Diplomacy, this one I absolutely hate. Shall I tell you why? One of my biggest pet hates about this is I'll be going around as a small faction trying to find someone to declare war, because obviously you have to build up your strength. Like I've having to rush people because I realise this, but every person you declare war on will have at least one ally. It's sort of like, and these allies will just honour it straight away without even thinking. Like it's sort of like, why would they? Like they're not close friends. They suddenly became allies. And like, why would they defend someone who they just made out an alliance with? It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know what they were going for. I say it's simplistic, but not in a good way. I would like something like how they used to declare war back then, like how they used to like throw a goat's foot over, if that's what it is, or something like that. And that was like the ritual to say that that person has incarcerated you, and that's how you declared war. And yeah, so moving on to decisions. Yeah, sorry guys, it is a lot to take in, and trust me, talking a lot is a lot for me as well. I will say it's in my first video, so bear with me. Right, so turn off cheat option, yada yada. Sorry, so this is your decisions menu. Every game has got this. Like, this is where your main thing. So like some of these would have been better. I don't think they should have the decisions menu. Personally, I don't think they should, because you can move all of these into different areas. You can move that into politics, you can move that into politics, you can move that into politics. All these could just be moved into government. And then you got the bump, and you could just have different edicts in different areas. And then it's sort of limiting, because like people argue, say it keeps it in all one area, so it's simplistic. But what's the point? Why would I want to, if I'm going in an economy and I'm changing the tax of something, and I'm thinking, oh wow, maybe I can do this. I want to be able just to click down below and look at what other options I have. So I don't get why they haven't done that. But yep. Trade overview, I've already said my opinion on trade overview. I just think it needs to be improved, and I don't think it should exist. I just think it should be moved over to economy, and that's sorted. Characters wise, it's standard for any Paradox game in this quality. I enjoy it, but it's been the same or similar to the same since they started making these types of games in like this sort of style of like arguably Crusader Kings style, because this is just another version of Crusader Kings, just slap the ancient genre on it. So personally, I'm okay with it, but I want something new. It's getting a bit boring now, arguably. Guys, welcome back. So I'm sorry, this space playing up absolutely awful, trust me. It could be an absolute pain sometimes. I'm looking at getting a portable hard drive to put all my video files on. So yep, so let's get back into it. So right now we're conquering over them. So as you can see, I am going to win this battle, and once we won this battle, we'll get back into it. So my first concern I've found when you're playing this on the speed I am is your frame rate can flicker. So you just have to be a little bit careful about that. I'd say that's my only concern. Secondary, like, it's like a bit of a game of tug of war sometimes when you're fighting. Like, I find it near impossible just to take some territory. So like, now even though I control all of it, they won't let me have it. Oh, well, they have actually. Oops. But yeah, so we've done it. We've won territory. I think that's a win in my book. But as we've got some time and I need more time to kill, we're just going to take this more territory, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more. So my issue I find is sometimes when you get into this game for a long while, actually what will happen is the actual game itself will start to slow down, like the actual buttons for it. So so it actually is working now. So the actual buttons like this here, I just hate how many notifications I get up. I'm sorry, it's absolutely annoying how many notifications you get up. You don't want to see hundreds of notifications, you just want to see the important stuff. So we're going to fight these guys. You may be asking, do I really want to go to war with everyone? And I say yes, because I'm British and I love to fight people, so let's get into it. Not in the sense of I do love to fight people, I just love to get in arguments. So alright, so we're going to take this capital, and hopefully we would have won this then. So we own their capital, so they should surrender, because we're the captain now. Because that's what happens, isn't it? You take someone's capital, it's not, oh, it's just, oh, he owns us now. Well, it has different connotations now in this day and age, but yeah. But yeah, you can argue there is a lot more different connotations to that. But yeah, so right now we're just, oh no, hurry up. Right, so we're going to quickly take these guys out, and then aha, so now I can take this territory, and because I own it, all of it, they have to accept my, yeah, and there we go. So I've won. In my opinion, that's a win. This has been the gameplay, the actual gameplay. I say there's not a lot to play. You saw the functions, you saw how the other things work. There's not a lot to talk about. It's really a case of, would I recommend, a case of that, but would I recommend you buying it? It depends. In its current state, no, because optimization wise, it's appalling compared to other Paradox games, and you pay a lot, and you're still paying a lot for a very poorly optimized game. I've got a very powerful computer, but even this computer struggles. And like, you're asking yourself, for what? It's a couple of pieces on a board. And I'll show you my computer's like graphics card in theory. I've got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060. I have 16 gigs of RAM. I have a very high quality processor. What is going on? That's my question. What is happening? So, yeah, it will need to be looked at. I'd say no, not in its current state, but if it's on sale, because I got this when it was on offer, I'd say if it's a discount, I'd go for it, 100%. But full price, no. I'd steer away from it. I'd say personally, find some other Paradox titles. So find some of their older stuff, because Crusader Kings 2 is brilliant. So is Hearts of Iron 3. You can play hours on them, and it's more built off imagination. And that's the thing these guys are missing. There's not so much imagination anymore. You can't imagine the soldiers fighting each other on the battlefield anymore. It just doesn't feel, you know what I mean. But that's my opinion. I hope you liked today's video. If you're around, let me know what you're doing. If you've seen this video, tell me what you think of it down below. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you've subscribed. I've been Boomer Plays. This has been Boomer Reviews. Keep that booming coming.